Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. So we're back over here at the double wide in the back room, and we're going to continue working on this mess. The box that I went through last time that was ready to go for donations, etc., that you see me carrying out, somehow made its way back here, and that's okay, so I just took it back. I'm happy to report that it did leave the double wide. So all of that stuff is gone, and I guess that we're just going to continue with this. I don't like working in this room. It is like an emotional mess for me because a lot of it is stuff from when my kids were little. It just stuff I don't know what to do with. And then I struggle with like hoarding tendencies. I'm not a hoarder, but it like I've said before, it would take one event to just, I think, put me into a spiral of keeping stuff. I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to be aware that I do very much have the tendency to hoard. A lot of it is anything that has to do with my kids. That right there is my primary thing. I will keep stuff that reminds me of my kids' childhood. And I've done better to let that stuff go. Like with papers and artwork and stuff. If it doesn't have a name on it, if it's ripped up, if it's old, if it's, you know what I mean? Like if it's just, I don't know whose it is, I can get rid of it. There's also stuff like old little t-shirts that I saw them in that were like my favorites. Where I have 5 children, a lot of stuff like passed from my oldest all the way down to my 8-year-old. So my oldest is 21, and then there are 2 17-year-olds about to be 18. I have a 15-year-old about to be 16, and I have an 8-year-old. So, you know, a lot of those clothes, I can remember seeing all of them, and even my daughter wore some of them, and it just, they like pull on my heartstrings. But I did better to get rid of some stuff. Each time I declutter, I get a little bit better. And while I'd love to have some of that instant progress, I know that, as I've said before, it's kind of like weight loss. The longer it takes for the weight to fall off, more likely the longer it'll stay off. And so I feel like the longer I take on decluttering, the more progress I'll make down the road. And I don't mean like taking my time and farting around. I mean like, you know, doing it the proper way, like, you know, working out and eating healthy. And just like with the decluttering, making sure that I'm going through the stuff and I'm putting it in the right home. And I'm really thinking about whether or not I'm going to keep this stuff, because the longer I do it like that, the easier it becomes with cleaning. Like I watch Miss Hart on A Hoarder's Heart, and I see how the progress she's made, even though it's taking her a while in a good way. Like she's learning to let stuff go quicker. And I feel like that I'm doing that. You know, I'm getting to that point. There's a lot of stuff I never thought I could let go, and now I'm doing better about it. And as well, like with my cleaning and stuff too, I struggle with day-to-day cleaning. I know how important it is, and it seems so simple to just freaking clean up after yourself, but I do struggle with it. And there's times when I'm so tired because I am incredibly busy and I have a lot going on that I just don't want to. Like I'd rather just do something else, anything else than cleaning. But I'm getting a lot better with it. Stuff goes back in its place more often. I don't wait as long to clean up a room. And that's what I mean by making sure that I take the time and really change the thought processes. Because yeah, I can clean up a room in one day and get everything right back to where it goes, or, you know, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. So before, where I would just do all my cleaning at once, I don't do that as much anymore. Like I tried to clean, I don't know how to explain it. My brain just went kaput. I try to clean more. I try to be more conscious of what I'm cleaning when I'm going through stuff, you know, instead of just shoving stuff in a closet. There we go. I used to do that real bad. Just shove stuff in a closet, shove it in a drawer. Now I'm like taking the time to be like, do you really want this? Do you really need this? Because you really are just going to shove it in the closet. So maybe you should throw it away or get rid of it. Like I'm taking those extra few seconds to think about, hey, do you really want this stuff? There's a generator in here where the double wide is. And you would think it being closer to the capital that you would have a better electricity and water. This, since we've lived here, well, now Jeremy just lives here, but for 6 years, the power and the water go out enough that we've had to buy a rain barrel and a generator. It's not every month, but it's enough that those things are necessary, because when it does go out, it's like for at least a day or multiple, you know, several hours. long enough that you got to get your refrigerator going and that stuff. It is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not trying to be, well, I am complaining, but I think that's a legitimate thing to complain about. As much as you pay for water and electricity, you would expect it to work. And there's a whole bunch of
Okay, so I'm spending the day at Jeremy's, and he asked if I would help with Joe's room. Joe came in here the other day and cleaned a little bit, but he's missing a bunch of stuff, and it needs a deep mommy clean. I know there's always a comment when I have the kids' rooms, your kids really should help more. We are aware that Joe needs to clean more and help more, and he does do things around the house, but the room is just something we've kind of let go, and that is what it is. So should Joe keep his room clean more? Yes. Should Joe be in here helping me? Yes. But this is a matter of urgency, and this is where it is. And you know what? If you have never had to have this issue with your kid, I'm super proud of you, and you are probably doing it better than I am then. But this is just this anyway. So under that bed is really bad, and that's where we're gonna go. We're gonna start with. I'm gonna pull the mattress up and just start going. And anyway, so I'm also really tired, and I need a nap. So I'm gonna clean for about 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna lay down because it is my off day, and honestly, that's my favorite thing to do is to nap. I don't know how much we're gonna get done, and I don't know exactly what all we're gonna do, but yeah, we're gonna get rid of some stuff. Joe has had the opportunity to come in here and take care of some stuff, and he did not. So he's 8, so you can only expect him to do so much. But so this is the before. We want to eventually paint this room, but right now I think at this age it's a little pointless. So there's a lot of stuff too that I figure he probably doesn't want. Like, he's definitely not into Paw Patrol anymore. I don't know, maybe a room makeover would help him, but I don't think we need to do that yet until he can keep it clean. His big thing right now, what we're motivating, is he wants a kitten. And Jeremy and I both said, absolutely not. Not until you can, at the bare minimum, keep your room clean on a daily basis, not one big tidy up. And I don't think that's too much to ask for. So that has been something that's prompted him a little bit, but yeah. Okay, so anyway, let's get to cleaning.
So I set my timer, which is my go-to trick, and I did it for 30 minutes. It just helps set boundaries for myself because I'm really bad to just keep going until I burn out, and then I won't go back in and finish it up. That has been something I've really tried to work on, is set realistic expectations. Okay, so to address the title of this video, this room made me incredibly upset to the point that I actually had to stop before my timer was up and go sit in the other room. And I don't think I cried. I don't know, but I got really upset, and I was very, very close to it. So if you are new, my husband and I live in separate homes. We've been separated for over 1.5 years now. We are together and working things out, but we're not at the point where we want to move back in. So Jeremy lives here, my husband. Joe stays with me 1 week and then stays with Jeremy 1 week. And a lot of times I'll end up staying over there with him, and they're as consistent as they can be. So it doesn't even really seem like to Joe that mommy and daddy aren't really living together, because there's just so much combination. He does pretty well with all of it. So when I first walked in here, and I've talked to Jeremy about this, so it's not like I'm dropping some kind of, hey, I was really upset with you. At first, I was really irritated at Jeremy. I'm like, how did you let this get to this point? And then I'm like, Eric, are you for real? Like, you're really going to say that this is his fault? Which, at this age, it really is on the parents for how they keep the room clean. So if you've been here a minute, you're probably like, girl, are you serious? You're going to blame this on him? And the reason I say that is I just watched some old videos of when I lived here at the house and was a stay-at-home mom, and Joe's room was even worse. So I don't know what I think I was just trying to pass the blame, because it upsets me that I know that we're not as hard on, I don't want to say hard, but we don't stick with it with Joe as much as we did with the other kids. But I'm trying to remember when they were 8, like, I think all of their rooms were pretty much this bad, and we had to go in. Now, as they're older, they do really well to keep their rooms clean. When we homeschooled, I had a very strict rule that before you did anything, before you played video games, went outside, etc., your room had to be clean. And I don't mean like top to bottom. I just mean like your bed made, your stuff picked off the floor, your laundry put in the basket, that type of stuff, basic things. And it's stuck with them to the point that they'll even declutter on their own. My daughter does real well to like purge her room of junk when she doesn't need it. She does well to let stuff go and to donate and all that. So, which is why that back room actually got pretty bad, is because when the kids go through their room, anything they want to donate, they put in that back room, and we take it to Goodwill, do whatever we see fit with it. Joe, we have done a little bit of that. He knows to, when he has a toy that he's ready to get rid of, he'll be like, hey mom, let's give this to Goodwill, etc., etc. Unfortunately, most of the time when he's ready to get rid of a toy, it's been worn down. But we're just, I can't, I guess I have a tendency to compare the kids now and Joe. And that's just not fair because Joe's 8. However, we do need to do better about him cleaning up. I never let the older kids eat in the room when they were little. That's always been a no-no. Joe has been able to eat in his room, and that's been a big problem. And Jeremy says like that at his house, that's stopped. It stopped at mine as well, but he's the baby. That's not an excuse, but there really is something true about like your baby, your last one. Like I can't have any more children. I have 5. That's enough for me. And there's just something in my brain. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's the baby. And I am very aware of this. And it's just, it's frustrating me that I just can't be like, hey, no. So these are all the emotions that are going through my head. And then of course I'm thinking about things that Jeremy and I have done wrong with the older kids. And then just like the separation the last year or so, and it overwhelmed me. And then it upset me, all the money that we've wasted on, like, because at one point I just start throwing stuff away, and I'm like, man, this is time spent that's just going in the trash. And then of course, I'm like, oh, I feel like a bad parent because I haven't taught my kid to appreciate these things, and just all these thoughts just overwhelm me. And finally I was like, okay, enough, you need to stop, you're getting frustrated. And I had to walk out of the room for a few minutes, and I sat down there and I told Jeremy everything that was on my mind. I was like, I'm not mad at you. I was like, this is not, this is an effort on both our parts, or lack of effort on both our parts. And we kind of talked about all of it. And I said pretty much everything I just said to y'all. And then one of the big things, which I'm going back because I'm stumbling because it still upsets me. And it just left my head. I guess it didn't upset me that bad. I get like just the amount of, now I know what it is. The amount of time that we waste on material objects is just ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous. This looks worse than it is because it's all the stuff I like got out from underneath his bed. It's still really bad. And this is ridiculous. But it makes for a good, satisfying, clean video, right? And again, like I said before, if you've not ever had to struggle like this with your kids, oh my gosh, I am envious of you, because I know a couple people that they don't have this problem with their kids. Like, they've been able to keep on top of it. They're able to monitor what comes through the house, which that's a big thing that we have done. Christmas and birthday gifts we've really cut down on those, and made sure that what they get is like not one gift. I think we do like 3 or 4, but just something good quality, something they really want. Like just fewer gifts, and because they don't care. But it's so hard. I think about my childhood, and it's like I'm trying to make up. It's like I feel like if I do things different with my kids, that their childhood will be better, when it's going to be better anyway, and it's a completely different childhood anyway. But I guess one of the big things when I was growing up is I had a different childhood. And there was not a lot of focus on material things. And I felt like my parents were divorced. And I'm trying to say this being as respectful as I can. It was not ideal. And when I saw a lot of other kids have all these things, all these gifts and toys and material things, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I had those things, my childhood would be better. My life would be complete. My parents would get back together. Everything would be awesome. And that's not the case. And I do that now as an adult. I'm like, hey, if I buy this one object, it's going to put my whole life together. Everything's going to fall into place. And then I get that object and, things don't fall into place. And then it's like, oh crap. Well, then I focus on another object, and it's like, these things, these material possessions, are not going to make anything better. As a matter of fact, I found they've made problems worse for me. Put you in debt, then you have to deal with what I'm dealing with now, which is cleaning up your mess and everything else. So it's exhausting, and it's just, they're material possessions. They have no life. It's like that Bible verse, do not store your treasures. Wait, something about treasures and you can't take your, anyway, it's about material things and treasuring the things that you have on life. You need to prioritize a little bit better. You store your treasures in heaven. I think that's what the Bible verse is. Anyway, it's in a Bible lesson, but I always love that. I see my older son. That was something I always talked about when he was little. And ironically now, he's got a free spirit. Like, that kid reminds me of a hippie from the 60s. Like, he's a great kid, and he does not give a rat's patootie about material things. He goes to work, works his butt off, and does not spend his money on anything. He's a little wild right now, but he's 21. Of course, I wish that he would calm down a little bit. But as far as material possessions go, absolutely not. And that kid will wear like the same clothes, not day after day. I hope not day after day, but like that he's just, anyway, I'm rambling because it's a pretty deep topic for me, and it sometimes tends to go, and I jump from thought to thought. My point was, this room, that's pretty much, though, that'll sum up. That gives you guys how my brain was working at that moment and why I got so upset and had to walk out. And it's not a fix overnight. Like, I can't just go in here and throw everything away and restart. It doesn't work that way. So that's category game that you guys see up there on the dresser. And it's really weird that I've hung on to it this long. It is one of my favorite games, but we've used almost all the papers. A lot of the cards are missing. One of my best friends, she passed away about 10 years ago, actually 8 years ago. Jo is named after her and Jeremy's grandfather. Her name was Brandy Jo. Her middle name was Jo. Jo is also named after Jeremy's grandfather, whose name was Joe. Not Joseph, it was just Joe, and that's what Joe's name is. Anyway, she and I had played that game a couple times, and there's several pieces of paper that have her handwriting in it, on it, and I just can't bring myself to get rid of it because we played it together. I should just keep the papers, just take the papers out and keep them and put them in a frame. But it's like I can't throw the whole box away. And now Joe's playing with it. And I'm like, oh, it's so ironic. And those are the things I get hung up on. Like, her memory's not going to go if I throw those boxes away. I can keep the papers with her hand. It's weird, the stuff that, we can't let go. So that was my big ramble about the room, and that is why this was so emotional for me. I'm good now. Got the room tidied up. I don't know what's going to happen to it because I'm really not here most of the time, so it's going to fall on Jeremy to clean it up. So hopefully, or to make Joe clean it up. Hopefully we got a good start. Joe does not spend a lot of time in his room, and so it's a little, maybe that's why it gets so messy so quick, is that he just comes in here when he does and throws stuff away or throws stuff around. I don't know. So I don't know what, normally I'll tell you guys, well, this is how this room's going to fix. This is what we're doing to change. Jeremy said, but the steps he's taking is Joe is not bringing food or drinks in here. One of the things, like I said before, we don't buy Joe toys like we used to. And we were really bad, both of us, for spoiling him. And that has stopped. As far as actual toys go, he does not get. He gets the occasional Happy Meal, and that's about it. But we have really quit that. And it's been a struggle because Joe will, get whiny and stuff about it. But Jeremy and I have to stick with it because we don't want to get it. So that is one of the steps that has been taken. A lot of stuff is leaving. As you saw, I got a whole entire trash bag full of stuff out of here. So that's progress. I don't know what the next step will be. It'll really just it's going to be up to Joe to keep his room tidy. So, but yeah.
All right, we are doing a Sam's and Walmart food haul. Grand total for all of this, I believe it was just under $50 at Walmart and right around $80 at Sam's, so about $130. We got, I did not realize that there were that many tortillas in that bag, but got some tortillas for the kids. I've got the zero carb, low carb ones for myself, but the kids love them too. So got those for them. Got a thing of pork. I like to cut these up into the small roasts and then some into chops. Lucky Charms. This is actually more and a little bit cheaper than the bag cereal at Walmart that I normally get. So went with that this time. Honeycrisp apples. All the kids love them. I can't eat them right now, but I adore them as well. 3 pounds of bacon from Sam's Club. That's about the best deal going, so stick with that. Lettuce for salads. I did not order this butter, but somehow ended up with it. At least I don't think I ordered it. I'll have to go back through my list. So I've got plenty of butter. So I've already got 2 of these 4-packs in the fridge. So I guess I'll be making a lot of butter, or making a lot with butter. Milk, Sunny Delight, heavy whipping cream. If you've ever done keto, you know that heavy whipping cream is a staple. Peppers. Last time I did one of these, I tried to order a few jalapenos and I ended up with like 2 pounds of jalapenos. So I got it kind of right this time. I only got 4. But green peppers are good in steak bowls. Fill them up with, what's that stuff called that you put on bagels? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Cream cheese. Put cream cheese in them. They're great for a low carb snack. Got a couple onions, Hershey's strawberry syrup. Joe loves strawberry milk. Michael loves strawberry milk. I got frozen and regular strawberries. Check these strawberries out. The last 3 orders I've got from Walmart, these things are massive. I'm in love. I can only eat a couple at a time because of the carb content. But Joe likes to take them in his lunch. The kids love to eat them. Grapes for the kids. Pepperoni. I've been making my own little low-carb pizzas. Put fresh mozzarella or shredded mozzarella on some parchment paper. Put it in the oven with a pepperoni and a little tiny dab of low-carb pizza sauce. And you got a little low-carb pizza. It's perfect. Coffee filters because I'm almost out. Mushrooms because I'm obsessed. Cuties. The kids love them. Again, I can't really eat them. And a few packs of paper towels. So that's it, guys. Walmart/Sam's haul, $130. Little bit of health, a little bit of junk. Good mix, I think. Oh, I forgot. I got shrimp too. I hated shrimp up until about 2 months ago, and now I can't get enough of it. So, anyways, there it is, y'all. Thanks.
All right, so there's my fine hubby folding some clothes. He is looking hot. All right, you guys, so you know that if you see the laundry, that it is close to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed doing this voiceover. It helps so much to have somewhere to kind of not vent, just to talk it over. And then you guys are just amazing with the comments and stuff like that. That helps me. I feel like this channel helps me more than it does provide entertainment or, whatever the purpose is. Jeremy and I were talking about that. It's like, I clean so much more because I want to have content, and that really, really helps me. This channel, again, if it started out, I was going to help teach everybody else how to clean. I taught myself real quick that I don't know the first thing about cleaning, and I'm just struggling along like everybody else is. We are all on different levels, different paths of life, and hopefully I can help somebody else, or just let you know what, you're not alone. We're all struggling. I think one of the big things about social media is that there's this lie that you're going to be perfect one day, or you're going to have it together. And I'm like, that's the lie that we tell ourselves in childhood, about adulthood, is that when you're an adult, you'll figure it all out. I'm 41 years old and I have no idea what I'm doing. I still don't even know what I want to do. I don't know if I want to go back to being a stay-at-home mom. I don't know if I know I don't want to work at a grocery store the rest of my life. I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm okay with that. And sometimes I'm like, I think I kind of want to do something else. But all I know is that I don't know. And in the end, none of these thoughts really even matter. None of this crap even matters. What really matters are the relationships with my family and the things that we do to help other people. So I'm just a whole bunch of rambling thoughts today. Okay, so Jeremy is folding all these clothes. The older kids wash their own clothes. That was something I did way before, when I was still a stay-at-home mom. I was washing clothes for 7 people, and that was ridiculous, as you guys have seen. If you've seen my older videos, oh my goodness, it was crazy. So, and Joe's getting to the age where he's probably going to have to start washing his clothes too. I think that's something very important kids need to learn how to do, just those basic tasks, because they don't really seem to know how to do that stuff anymore. I don't think, do they do home ec classes? And even in home ec, I think you learn how to bake a cake and do all that other stuff. Like, learn how to do laundry, all that other. It's like things that we just assume that you know how to do, but you forget. Like, somebody's got to show you. You got to learn how to do it. But anyway, you guys are absolutely amazing. I love you all so much. And I'm sorry if I don't get a chance to heart your comment or to respond. Sometimes things get so busy, but I do read all of them. I see all of them. And you guys are just phenomenal. I love you all so, so much. So wherever you're at, I hope you're having a blessed one. I will see you guys on Saturday in my vlog. Bye.